Hi everyone, I'm Saleha and this is Chai Chat and Community. Today I'm speaking with a very special guest, Haroon Sayed. But before I start and ask questions, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, including our community leaders and elders who are listening to us today. Thank you, Haroon, for joining me.
Thank you, Salah. Thanks for having me. Well,
Always
uh,
a pleasure.
thank you.
Um, I know your story and your amazing story. When we met and you came to my house and we had a cup of chai and we talked about your journey. Do you mind sharing that with our listeners?
Sure. Thank you. First of all, thanks for hosting me with that chai and giving us the laptops. It was just not one, two, three.
No.
It was just about 15, 8, 16 laptops. Helped a lot of people. So basically, I work for Bhakti Community Organization. This is an Afghan community, mainly working in the southeast of Melbourne. We last year we opened a new office in Geelong, so we are expanding our services, which is and also we have another office in Dandenong. So the Bhakti Community Organization actually started its operation or came into existence in late 2016. It was basically a cultural association or publishing association, basically working with preserving the Afghan culture, literature, and art. And slowly, everything changed, and more people joined in. A lot of ideas came in, and yeah, today we are a community organization supporting a lot of people. We used to be Afghan, but now we are multicultural, and we have a lot of people. We have supported a lot of people, which is very pleasing.
And your journey that you told me when you came from
The journey,
Afghanistan.
yeah, the journey. Yes. Wow, that's an interesting. Well, it to me it's interesting. Maybe it's not for others. So we left Afghanistan in. I'm originally from Afghanistan. In late 1999. I was a teenager back then. Went to Pakistan. We just did not have any hope of going anywhere else, but just for safety, we went to Pakistan, and then lived there for a year. And then I need to tell you the whole story how we came to Australia. So
Of course.
one of my mom's cousin who lives here lived here since '86, and he found out about us. And he goes like, well, there's a chance to sponsor you guys to come to Australia, but that's not guaranteed. For the sake of just to find a new home, a safe place, basically, we said, yeah, sure, why not? For us, anyway, it's good. So yeah, stayed in Pakistan for 3 years and came to Australia in 2003. I still remember the first day we landed here. It was 6:30 in the morning with 70 other people, all Afghans, lining up behind me because I could speak 2 words or 3 words of English, and they were all wanted me to fill out the immigration
Forms.
this
Yeah.
form. Yes, and if I tell you one funny story, that there's a question that they said, "Did you bring any drugs?" That sort of things, and we used to think drugs mean medications.
Yes.
Yeah, and I said, did you bring anything, medication, any medication?" And some said, "Oh, I have like painkillers or Panadol or aspirin, that sort of things." And I ticked yes to to so many boxes. And then we went to the podium, and the lady was looking at our form. She was like, "Did you bring anything?" And I was like, it is embarrassing, but it's really funny as well at the same time. When I said, eventually she explained, and then I understood what it meant. So yeah, yeah. So living here in Australia since 2003. Came here, did a couple of English courses for 6 months or so. Wasn't too much interested in it. I also wanted to get into mainstream education, and yeah, applied for civil engineering and uni basically. And they told me, no, you're not. Your scores are not up to the standard, or it's not meeting the criteria. So you have to either go back to school, or you have to go to TAFE. Back then, what I find it really interesting today compared to what we experienced back then, there was a lot of support, but there was no one to tell you how to do it. And
So
that's
no
why
mentorship, basically.
nothing as such. For me, it was just like, and when they told me you have to go back to school to get a score and go to uni, or you have to go to TAFE, I found TAFE very lower and didn't like what they told me to go back to school because I already graduated and I was really good with science. Anyway, long story short, went back to school, did VCA, didn't get much good marks, to be honest. Didn't have much support, to be honest, back then. Eventually went back to TAFE and then uni, but I did mechanical engineering, graduated in 2009, worked for Department of Human Services. Now it's DFFH, back then it was DHS, as a draftsperson. And then slowly things changed. My mindset changed. Didn't find engineering very interesting, so got into business and then project management. I've got 2 degrees and a master's in project management. So that's my journey coming from Afghanistan to Australia. And it took me
And
16 years to complete my education. That's a long time.
you completed it. You
Eh,
completed it.
Yeah.
And today you have a good job. You do pro bono
Oh,
work. It's
thank you.
awesome.
It is, yeah, yeah. So in a way, which I'm seeing it last 3 years that I'm not studying, I'm enjoying it, what I'm saying, what I've studied before, and I'm using that sort of experience, what I learned. But back then it was just basically, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it. Now I'm saying I'm glad I did it. So yeah.
Okay. So, I'm sure, like all of us, this is all our pro bono work that we do, and you're busy during the day or night, depending on what shifts you get at work. But
Correct.
how did you get involved with the Bhakkar community?
With Bhakta community. As I said before, Bhakta came into existence in 2016, but I wasn't involved with Bhakta back then. My older brother was, and my dad was, because my dad is really interested in, what do you call it, literatures, arts, and poetry. And they had some sort of gathering every month. But then a funny thing happened that in 2020, when we had the lockdowns and everything, Bhakta was qualified to for a grant, food relief project. That's what they call it. But they needed volunteers to take these food packages to people, to vulnerable people who either lost their jobs or didn't have a proper visa, that sort of thing. But you could only travel for 5 kilometers,
Yeah.
so you couldn't travel more than 5 kilometers. So they needed people to help and support, and I had some time. I volunteered. I said, well, I live here. I can go to such and such places. So yeah, it was just basically delivering packages, nothing else. And I did,
It's a lot. Those, I mean, we all
yeah,
know the horrors
yeah,
of COVID, and when people couldn't go out and people didn't have money to buy food, so
correct, yeah.
it was a big thing, Haroon.
It was no, I'm just talking about in terms of working. I was just only doing deliveries, and
The
that's all.
fact that you were delivering, I mean, many people wouldn't even have done it.
No, the thing was that you went. I mean, I went to people's houses, knocked door, had to stand back what 3, 4 meters away, and so I've got your food package, but I need you to sign this paper for me because I have to show it back to the management,
Yep.
and the, and I had to leave the paper there, and they came and signed it. And there was one a funny story that I went to one house, and this lady came out, and she goes like, "Oh, sorry, I won't sign the paper because I don't know how to sign, but my husband is not home." And I'm like, "I can't give you the, I can't give you the package if you don't sign it." But I said, all you have to do is just do something for me. Yeah, so those sort of things happen as well. But my involvement with Bachta started pretty much in 2021 when the fall of Afghanistan and then mass migration of people, they came to Australia. We were asked by Quarantine Hotels Victoria to provide up to 20 hours a day interpreters. So it was me, Basir, that you know, and there was another person working with us. Three of us, we were working around the clock. Swear to God, we slept 2 a.m. in the morning, woke up 7 a.m. in the next morning, and then started working again, including our own jobs. So my role was basically I was a coordinator, I was a payroll staff, I was just doing the time, what do you call it, the rostering, a lot of things, and communication. So the first 40 days went on like that, and then after that, when people moved to temporary residential, this is the actual job started. We had to go and see them delivering food packages, clothes. Needed to find out about their problems. Return everyday inquiries back to AIMS, Australia Multicultural Hub, they call it, in the city. So constantly, so it was busy time, and at the same time, I asked if we were doing projects with Baghdad, which I asked, and then they said we are, but you don't know it. I said no, but my background is project management. Can I
Yeah.
help me? How? And then they said sure. From now on, you can work in this. So yeah, 4 years of work. Sorry, 3 years of working regularly every single day with Baghdad now.
Wow. And more than full time, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because I wake up in the morning until 2 p.m. I'm busy with Bakhta. I have got only 2 hours break, and then 4 p.m. I start working my own job, and then finishing 12:30 in the morning and coming back home, sleep, and that's it. Back and forth.
I
Busy.
don't think, yeah, I mean, volunteering, such a noble profession, but it's also very time consuming
It
because
is.
many people don't understand, the kind of stuff that we do.
Perfect.
Like yourself, working on the ground and round the clock,
Mhm.
or like yourself behind the scenes.
Sure.
But yes, I mean, but at the end of the day, I find this more fulfilling than my paid job.
That is
I'm
correct.
sure
True.
you do too.
That is true.
So, what kind of projects are you doing now in Bakka?
Okay. In the past 3, 4, we have had a number of projects we have implemented. So basically, if we talk about the projects, what we do, we have a list of small projects that we do on regular basis, and it's just as part of Bachter's regular operation. And then projects that we get qualified through grants, applying for grants and getting it. So this year we are working on, well, COVID has been since 2020 till now, has been a regular project for us
Yep.
every year. And apart from that, family violence is one of the main things that we are working with the community. It's basically raising awareness, building capacity, and letting people using their rights. What is the right thing, rather than just using your right and abusing it.
Yep.
That's the main thing we
Very
have.
important. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we have to, because some people just heard the word. As soon as something happens, you have the right to go call the police, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but what I'm saying is what actually triggered, what caused it. Is it the right thing that we all do? I'm not saying you, but we all saying, oh, we
No,
did
I
it.
know what. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, now we have a project starting on 22nd of June, which is in 3 days, the opening of our new class. That's a class for students from Afghanistan to stay connected with their own languages. So it will be with Pashto and Dari classes. And we're working on a new classes, numeracy and literacy class for people who, and it's not only for the Afghans, it's for everyone who left school or are looking to find a job, but then lacking
Yeah.
literacy and numeracy. The next
So
project,
these classes are going to be obviously done in English.
the literacy and numeracy will be in English, definitely, yes.
And are these for older people?
It is for it's so basically it's for adults age 16, and the requirement is basically to train people from age of 16 to 35 to get ready and go back to work, finding employment basically. But then on the other hand, we have so many people that are going to English classes, but they're not learning a lot there. Then we have a different project or different setup of classes for them. It's called English for Daily Life. It's just basically to learn what's happening around them conversational wise. Because and then the person who is helping us out, he's a retired teacher, has worked with
Afghan?
no Australian.
Oh, so I'm just wondering. So when you do these classes, do you need interpreters to explain, say, to newly arrived migrants who don't know the language? Or
Initially, the idea was to have an interpreter. So my idea was just to have this teacher helping people with what they learned at school or in the classes, and to come here and sit and then practice it. But then, being him a teacher, and I'm not a teacher, he said then it doesn't help anything because what
yep,
they do is
yep.
just practicing the same sentence and they won't learn extra. And he was not for he wasn't I'm not saying against it, but he wasn't happy
No,
to
I
have
know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
so he said having an interpreter is just basically making the job a lot easier for them and they won't learn. Let them learn, and that should be it. So no, not interpreters in those classes, no. But
And
with
how's the uptake been?
sorry.
Uptake's been good. Uptake's been good.
It is good, yeah. We have so what we are trying to do is just when they're learning the language at the same time they can learn some work experience. So we offer or we can offer two types of work experience at the moment. One is just basically learning the general admin work, which is at Halam office, and we had some. The funny thing is we had people from other communities. We had Serbians, Turks. There was another one I can't remember from what community. They worked with us for 8 weeks or 12 weeks to learn a few things, and then after that they decided to join as volunteers, and it was
Oh,
just yeah. No, I'm not kidding. Trust me. They're involved pretty much every now and then. uh, and then we have this, so basically learning one side and then getting the work experience on the other side to have a resume or a CV to say these people have the Australian style of work experience and they can
yeah.
apply for jobs here and there. And we had interest from young students. I've got a student who worked in Pakistan as a graphic designer for 5 years. She's a very young lady, and when she heard about our work, she voluntarily decided to join us as a graphic designer. And so while she's studying graphic design here in Australia, and then she's also working with us and gaining the experience, which is good. And she loves it. We love it
Excellent.
as well. Makes our job easier.
Of course, of course. So, Harun, these people who attend your classes,
Mm.
what is what is the breakdown of men to women? Are women coming to learn the language and then go into the workforce?
Um, if I tell you, I mean, actually, I said this to another person, a good friend of mine, and she said, "You're discriminating." I said, "Oh, no. Our project is basically to enable women more.
Oh,
I know that men should not be ignored, but what I see from the community, as a member of the community, and what I've experienced from what I've heard from them, is basically women don't have enough time to learn through different things. Either they're
yep.
making the excuses or there is an excuse for them to actually not being able to learn. So we made sure that majority of these classes are filled with women. Men are also involved, but the uptakes are so the ratio is women are more, men are less at this stage. But in
Yep.
future, God knows what
Of
happens.
course, yep.
Hmm.
Um, so you've answered what I wanted to ask you next, but let let's let's hear you share a good story about the work that you do. You know, a success story, because I know there are lots of success stories.
Ah, that's interesting. A success story. Okay. Um, when we had a big protest against the lockdowns in 2021, that's the day that the new arrivals were shifted to move to their temporary residentials in the city. And I got a call from this lady. She said, we had a text message from both the community organization saying that they can support us, they can help us, that sort of thing. So I said, sure, what can I do for you? They said, we came to this hotel since 4:30 in the morning and we haven't had anything to eat. I said, are you sure? Because when they shifted you or moved you here, they provided you with everything. They said, nope, nothing as such. And it was exactly 4 p.m. I'm not lying
And they
to you.
arrived in the morning. Oh my
In the
God.
morning, 4:30 in the morning, yeah, because they had to be moved earlier because the protest was starting
Yeah.
probably pretty much around 9 o'clock or something. I said, okay, give me 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I'll call you back. So I called Basir back and said, Basir, this is what's happening. And these people telling me that they haven't had anything. And it's Sunday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? I think it was Sunday. Anyway, Basir said, just come and collect a couple of these food packages and take it to the hotel and speak to them what's happening. And then he also said, just buy some groceries and then send the invoices back to me, which I didn't buy much, probably about $120 worth of groceries. Put them in the car, went to city, and this lady wasn't. I mean, she wasn't speaking English back then, so she gave me a different hotel name. She said she's living in a Sky Hotel, and I'm looking for a Sky Hotel. Where is it? One is in Carlton, one is here, one is there. And I went to all these hotels and asked for this person, particular person, and they said, nope, this person doesn't live. That doesn't. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. I called her back and said, can you tell me exactly where you are? She said, oh, tram stop number 16. That's the closest location that I can tell. I said, tram stop number 16. There's so many of them. Which one? Yeah. So anyway, eventually she asked another person, "What's this hotel called?" And the guy said, "Escape." I said, "All right, I'll find you." But the
Yep.
bad thing is that there are three Escape hotels in the city. One is next to RMIT. The one is in Swanson Street. So I went to all three, and eventually I found him. So I had a chat with her and said, "There you go. That's your food. That's how many people you are." She said 7 people at the moment. I said, "Take this one."
Whoa.
So I need to find out exactly why you guys then they didn't give you
Yep.
food or something. Went to the hotel at the entrance. The security was there, and I said, "Do these people get food or something? What's happening? They don't have money. They don't have allowance from the government at the moment." Said the food is here. The food they were given food vouchers, Coles vouchers to go and buy their own groceries. The only problem is they don't know how to use it. And I said, "You see at
Okay.
the back, that food package is for you guys to eat." And they were like, "Oh, we went there. We showed them the Coles vouchers. They said no." I said,
Well,
"Of
we
course,
all.
this is where you need to buy your food. This is where you can get food till tomorrow." Anyway, and then the lady said, "We need shoes or boots, basically." I said, "Runners." I said, "Sure, I can organize that one." Came home, spoke to a friend of mine that he has been involved with community work or with a charity organization for 40 years. He's a family friend of ours. And I said, "This is the problem. Can you guys provide shoes and boots for this number of people?" And it was such a nice person he is. He said he will give me or donate me $500 to go and buy. Yeah, on the spot. He said $500 I'll give you. Just go and buy shoes, order them online, and then take it to the hotel for whoever need it, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow. I said, "Sure, no worries." And tomorrow, someone else called from their organization and they said, well, St. Vincent de Paul, I have to mention them because they have been a great partner of ours for many, many years now. They provided us with $2,000 worth of vouchers. And they said, you need to go to Dandenong South. Oh, yeah, Dandenong South, where one of the biggest warehouse of theirs is there. Just go and collect as much clothes as you want free, and then you want us to deliver, or you can go and deliver. I said, I can go and collect it. So in one day I went there and I picked up 100 pairs of clothes for 7 people. And I was kind of what do you call it, embarrassed to tell them I've got 100 pairs of clothes. And I said, well, I collected it because of such and they're like, you can take the entire warehouse if you want, can you deliver them? I said, oh, okay, so can I come back later? They said, that's fine. And then same person connected us to Rotary Club North Baldwin. Um, and then they linked us to Thread Together. Thread Together linked us to Street Smart Australia. And the linkages and partnerships and everything is just started from one question that, do you guys have shoes or can you help? And I'm so grateful that actually I met with that person first, and then I spoke to this person, and then we met you as well. You provided us with so much of clothes, especially
Oh,
2 weeks before. No, we do appreciate that. Thank you so much. That
thank
it
you,
was
Haroon.
a week before Eid, and you provide us with all those Indian style clothing. A lot of people took it home. Thank you so much. So
Oh,
that's something that I will never forget. But the rest, there's so
oh.
many other good stories. If I tell you, you'll be laughing and laughing and laughing. You'll be like, that's not good
Yeah.
story.
I
That's funny.
mean, when we think the world is a bad place, you have community coming together to rally together and help
Mm.
each other out, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's
there
true.
is goodness of people. I mean, that's what keeps me going. That there are so many, and while you're thanking me, I couldn't have done it. I mean, yes, the laptops were us, but so many other people gave stuff. I just did one call out to my friends, and
Again,
yeah,
that
but and I will still give stuff because yeah, it's just that you have moved too far now from me. It's not. And
mm,
maybe that's a conversation you and I need to have because I
sure.
would have loved to have done something for Eid. So,
Yep.
with all the interesting stuff that is going on in your life, if you had to live your life differently,
Mm.
would you have?
Uh, Wow. Uh, if I say, yeah, apart from the community work or the volunteer work, I would say definitely yes. I've always loved to be a singer. If I
Sing.
was singing, yes. If I was reborn again and I had the chance, because when I was child, I've always wanted to learn playing an instrument. Doesn't didn't matter what it was. I loved playing keyboard basically, and but back then the conditions, so people's perceptions, that sort of things, it just
Yep.
stopped. They stopped me and my family just allowing me to go and learn something. But nowadays, I see everyone plays and sing and that sort of things, and I sometimes feel like, oh, okay, why didn't I do it?
It's
Um,
never too late, Harun.
well, in terms of singing, it is too late, but in terms of learning music, no, you're right, correct. And apart from that, if would I relive it again? Would I do it differently? I would probably say work less, travel more. I love traveling. I love going to places which is cold, freezing cold. I don't know why.
Oh my God. Go
Uh,
to the Northern Lights. There's never a summer.
I've only been to, as far as Finland, and I loved it. The snow. It was
Yeah.
snowing time. It was just the airport, and it's right in the middle of forest, I believe, if I'm not wrong, because I saw so many trees around it. And then you see these um is it tracks or bulldozers or whatever you call it? They were just cleaning, plowing basically the airport, the runways, and it's just they're coming from one side to the other side. The plane is landing, and then they're coming from the other side to this side. It's just that's what I love. But yeah, I've done a bit of traveling here and there, but it's not. I feel like I haven't done much. So maybe more fun, I believe, in
Yeah.
terms of like traveling, seeing different cultures, getting connected with more people, that sort of thing. Because I lived a different life of basically a how to say it, not a lonely life, but basically being away from people a lot. Now I've got a small circle of friends. And mostly they're living overseas. I'm in touch with them. I've got about 4 or 5 good friends here in Australia, but not a lot compared to seeing people they're connected to so many others. They say socializing is more important. I would have done that, and more important.
Absolutely. It's good for well-being.
It is correct. And more importantly, I would have said that to get rid of this shyness, I'm a very shy person, to be honest. Unless I don't know the person, like I know you now, I can speak to you about anything. But I'm generally a shy person, introvert, if you call it. Hard to speak to people, hard to express things, and I prefer to listen more. And sometimes I lose words. I get confused what to say. I spoke to one politician one day, and he was so nice to me. But at the end of the day, I was like, so what should I say? Should I
That
say this?
happens.
Yeah,
It happens to
it's
all of
it's
us,
it's,
isn't
it's
it?
just at the end of the day, politicians are human as well. They're not,
Yep.
if you say something right or wrong, I mean, you shouldn't say it the wrong way, but choose your words properly. That's the main thing. Yeah, so that's something I would work on more. But apart from that, yeah,
There's still time. You're young, and there's still time. Last
thank you.
one before
Sure.
say we finish. Um, what do you do outside of work? And which means community work, paid work. I'd love to
Hmm.
hear you sing, but
Okay, so what do I do? I do play a bit of keyboard. That's something I love. Um,
Maybe one day you come and play.
uh, when I saw the that previous show of yours, the
Yes,
Jason,
from the Sydney group. Yes.
from the Sydney group, and they played this song, "Nili Nili Amber." What is it
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
my Hindi is not good. That's the song when I was 6 years old when I heard it, and it reminded me of the good old days we had. And I was like, wow. I mean, I've played that one, but not the way they played it. They're professionals. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm a keyboard player, but I'm learning. I'm watching a lot of. I'm self-taught. I'm not saying I didn't have a proper teaching or went to classes, that sort of thing. So, Rabi, that you have met,
Yep.
he's willing to open start not rather start a music classes for everyone. So hope,
Wow.
yeah. So that's in one of the projects that we're working on. We just don't know if we have to deliver that online or just one to one. But he says it has to be in a class because it's more effective rather than just online.
Yes,
Everyone says there's so many online classes. So let's see how it works.
I'm sure it will. I
Thank you.
mean, yes, and nothing connects like music. Nothing connects like food. Nothing connects like community.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thanks so much, Arun. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for coming. And I will be in touch.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so
Take
much.
care of yourself.
Good.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.